Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, and today I am here to talk a little bit more about the development in this Sony pulling Spider-Man story. It's getting even crazier. It's getting just crazier by the day, man. It's getting crazier by the day. First of all, more information has come out, and since my video yesterday, I have learned more, and I've been able to digest a little bit more, and honestly, I've been able to evolve my opinion. And my opinion hasn't changed completely from, I still think, overall, both companies are in the wrong for doing what they, for how this whole situation got escalated, though I don't think Marvel Studios themselves are in any way in the wrong here, because Marvel Studios has nothing to do with this. Kevin Feige probably wasn't even in the room. And just like most things, I don't believe Marvel Studios even had anything to do with the firing of James Gunn. You know, they work for Disney. They work for, Horn and Bob Iger. So, they can't really do anything except put their input and give their input. Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige might not even been in the room for these discussions. So Feige is just the creator. He's just a creator. He's not the business guy. He's just a creator he's just the creative guy. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they weren't even in the room for these discussions and these breakdowns, but it has been sort of confirmed. And I see some people twisting this the other way, but no, it's been kind of confirmed that Disney initially asked for 50%. But as many people have stated, that's just bidding. You bid high, or you bid high so then she can get brought down. And Sony declined it. And then Disney came back and said 30%, and Sony declined it and walked away. That's how it actually went. There's people trying to spin it like Sony kept coming. No. That's the thing. I am 100% sure from the information that I've seen on the internet, and I've looked all over YouTube, I've read some Deadline things, I've read some comic book cast things, I've looked at many YouTube channels. And from what I've seen, to me, Sony leaked this, because it wouldn't make sense for Disney to leak this. Because Disney is a secretive bunch. They don't leak things. There aren't leaks in Disney. No, you know what I mean? Disney is really good at that kind of stuff. I mean, people didn't know the plot of Last Jedi until the movie came out. People didn't know what was happening in Endgame until the movie came out. People know the name was Endgame, or officially knew the name was Endgame till the movie came out. Disney is private, and they would not want to paint themselves. And why would Disney release a leak that they asked for 50%? That doesn't make any logical sense at all. The logical thing to me, and it's the thing, it's the thing that a lot of people are kind of fighting back for, because the vultures come out when you're at your weakest, and Disney's been this big, proud, lion ruling the jungle, especially Marvel as well, for a very long time now, at least 10 years now. So there's blood in the water. They've been pierced by, they've been stabbed in the hand by these other beasts that is Sony, and there's blood in the water, and there's a little bit of blood in the water, and all then the chum are coming out to attack Disney and to attack Marvel, to good riddance, whatever. And granted, the majority of people are on my side of this, but the people who aren't are the loudest. This is the opposite. The people who are mad at Disney are the loudest, and the people who are it's probably Sony's fault are many. Well, the majority, but they're quiet about it. Except those crazies who are about to raid Sony, which, I mean, hey, do what you gotta do. But, anywho, the thing is, Sony leaked this because they thought, and they knew, and they sort of got what they wanted, but they didn't get it, but they didn't expect it to go that way too with the majority. They knew that people would assume that Disney is trying to completely roll them over. And they knew that people would assume that because of how big Disney is. They just bought Fox. There's all these news about them, cutting in some of those projects for cost-wise. Some of these projects that no one would have cared about really, except a couple people, a couple thousand people named Tim. Nobody really would have cared about some of the projects that they cut anyways. But we get it. Everyone's a fucking humanitarian on YouTube now. Everyone's got Nick Mundy acting like he's goddamn Jesus Christ, evil corporation. They're all corporations. That's the thing. That's the thing. That's why everyone's coming out because they're so evil corporation. They're all corporations. They all care about money. You think they'd be having this dispute over, creative differences? You know what I mean? This is about money. And Sony knowing that this is all they got. If they don't got Spider-Man, they're fucked. Because Men in Black failed. Most of Sony's movies this year haven't been that successful. They've had a couple of successes, but they're nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean? Like, other than Spider-Man. And as many people want to talk about Venom and Spider-Verse, because that's the argument right now, is Sony doesn't need the MCU. They got Venom. They got Spider-Verse. First of all, Venom was a fluke. I'm sorry. You guys know I hate that movie. I fucking hate Venom so much. But Venom was a fluke. Venom was a once in a blue moon kind of a thing that just the stars aligned that day. And people thought it was going to be something else that it wasn't. And that's what happened with Venom. People thought it was going to be something else that it wasn't. And they were pleasantly surprised. Once that gimmick, and that's what Venom is a gimmick. Once that gimmick wears off, it'll be just like Transformers all over again. Remember when Transformers first came out and the movies were making bank? And then eventually people said, okay, this gimmick is worn off. You're just doing this. Because that's what Venom's going to be, is that. And eventually people are going to go, okay, I'm kind of over this thing. And like I said, Venom has a very short shelf life. That's all I'm going to say about that. If you're banking on Venom, good luck. Spider-Verse may have been one of the greatest comic book movies I've ever seen. But no one can convince me that that movie wasn't that good. Honestly, I only think that movie was that good because Sony did not know what they had on their hands. If you remember the marketing for that movie, it wasn't marketed very great. It wasn't marketed great. It wasn't like a tentpole thing that Sony was pushing. It was a movie they were pushing. Once it got big time, won an Oscar, then they started pushing out all these things. Then they started pushing out, we're going to do all these TV shows. Then they started pushing out, we're going to do all these live action shows based off of this. We're going to have like a spin-off movies. We're going to have Spider-Verse 2 and spin-off movies, Spider-Verse 2. And Sony had this whole laid out plan. They're going to have like these two different universes. They're going to have like the live action stuff with Venom and Carnage and like Morbius. And they're going to have the TV shows. And TV shows, and they're going to have movies. They're trying to do all these kinds of things once they spun off. Back on that later. But anywho, back to the topic, back to the main thing I was trying to get at is that Sony knew that people would assume that they're doing that, attack Disney, paint Disney in this terrible light, hurt Disney, make themselves look golden boys, make themselves look like these rebellious champions of the people, of creative, even though those are the same guys who shove like 50 billion characters into Spider-Man, into both Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man. These are the same people whose CEO once told, when he was working at Fox, told someone that Deadpool couldn't work. Yes, the guy who runs Sony is one of the guys who's told Ryan Reynolds and whatnot that Deadpool wouldn't work. That's one of the guys. So, okay, just so you people who are on Sony's side, I want you to know that that's the guy who you're with. That's the guy who you're with. Is the guy who thought Deadpool wouldn't work. That's the guy. Just to let you guys know. Anywho, and it worked. It's working in a somewhat way. Somewhat. And like it worked like 30%. It worked like 30%. They got a little bit there, but not quite, because people are still like, man, fuck you, Sony. It almost worked. There's still louder voices. You got like people like John Campea, and you got other people like my boy Robert Storm. I like listening to him, but I disagree with him on this. You got people like John Campea, like I said. You got multiple people who are on Sony's side because it's easier to root for Sony. They're not big time like Disney. And that's the thing. It's the equivalent of one of those. It's like the Golden State Warriors. Like, you don't really fucking care about the Toronto Raptors. You just want to see them beat Golden State. And you don't really care that all these people got hurt. You just really want to see them beat Golden State. And that's what Disney is. Disney's Golden State. And Sony is like the Toronto Raptors, I guess. And people are just like, they're on. Like, it's like, no, calm down. And the actual truth is, Disney asked for 30% because Disney's actually put in most of the work. Disney were responsible for allowing Kevin Feige to go in there and help helm the script, help find the director, help find Tom Holland, help find this different world. Disney is the one who breathed life back into Spider-Man. And some people want to debate that, and I'm tired of this shit. Okay, let's just get this out of the way right here and now. I am tired of these fucking people who hate the MCU Spider-Man and who want to have proof that Sony can do this, referencing some shit that happened 20 fucking years ago. Spider-Man 1 and 2 happened 20 fucking years ago. Okay? The last time they did a live action Spider-Man and the last time they did anything live action was Venom and fucking Amazing Spider-Man 2. Both movies that are completely critically panned. That's the last thing they did. Stop talking about fucking Spider-Man 2. Okay? That was forever ago. Sam Raimi isn't coming back. Okay? And even if he was coming back, last time he was there, they bullied him around on Spider-Man 3. But nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about... So, Disney's the bully. Sony bullied poor old Sam Raimi and forced him to put Venom in a movie he didn't want to put him in. And no one wants to talk about that. Sony forced 1,000 characters into Amazing Spider-Man 2 and created one of the worst comic book movies of all time, and nobody wants to talk about that. Amazing Spider-Man is not this universally loved movie. It made money. It made money, and people thought it was okay. They thought it was good enough. That shit's got a worse score, but that shit got the same score as Iron Man 2. So, I mean, how good was it really? The only great thing they've done lately is Into the Spider-Verse. And that was animated. And they didn't know it was going to be that great. And it didn't make a lot of money. Like, Toy Story made $1 billion. You get like I'm thinking of all these animated movies that made more money than this. Moana made more money than this. Coco made money than that. Toy Story made more money than Spider-Verse. Incredibles 2 made more money than Spider-Verse. There's so many movies, animated movies, that made more money than Spider-Verse. Like, just being frank. Spider-Verse was kind of almost as like in the Kubo range. Which I love Kubo and Spider-Verse, but that's not a fucking franchise builder. Like, and the thing is, no one else is talking about this as well. I'm here to point out the things people aren't talking about. Is that Lord and Miller, the last animated thing they worked on was Lego Movie. Great movie. Does it sound familiar to you? Just stop me if you heard this before. Unique take on a new genre. Revolutionary look and way that they used the animation. Revolutionary way in which they told the story. Unique, different. You know, and it was just such a unique and different meta. It had so much heart. It had great characters. It had a great moral. And it had a great ending. Sounds really similar to Spider-Verse, right? Another movie, Lord Miller. Guess what? How many people showed up for Lego Movie 2? I'll wait. How many people showed up for Lego Movie 2? Some people didn't know there was a Lego Movie 2. And for and I see people in the comments probably, they're like, oh, but Lego Movie 2 didn't win an Oscar. First of all, it should have won an Oscar, but I digress. No one cares about an Oscars. like nobody cares about Green Book. Nobody's sitting around talking about Moonlight. You know what I mean? Like, it's like okay. I care about Oscars unless it's a movie that both fans and the critics like. That's when people care about Oscars. But nobody cares about that Oscar Spider-Verse one. It's great. It's a big hoorah for a comic book movie genre. For us, it's a big deal. For the grand majority of people, nobody cares. They didn't go out to see the first one, so why are they going to go out and see the second one? And no one knows how that's going to go. So no one knows how that's going to go. And now I want to get into the big thing. My final thing no one's talking about. Final thing that nobody's talking about. Disney / Marvel owns the rights to all of Marvel's TV properties. You can't make anything. So any studio that owns anything outside of Sony, Universal, Fox in the past, before they bought them, could not make a show, a TV show, any kind of show at all, without Disney's approval. Without Disney's approval, and without Disney okaying it. Want proof of that? The two Fox shows that were made before Disney was even rumored to buy them, which is Legion and The Gifted. Guess whose name was on both of those shows? Jeff Loeb. Because Disney has to allow it, and Jeff Loeb has to help produce it. Jeff Loeb's name was on both of those shows before Disney ever had its hands on Fox. And just when Disney was in the bidding war, like when Disney was starting to get talked about and people started building up steam that they were going to buy Fox, just when that started to happen, they were able to put the kibosh on the Deadpool animated show. They didn't even own Fox yet. They didn't even own Fox. Technically, they couldn't do anything, but they were able to put the kibosh on it because they own all the power on TV. So all of those shows that Sony announced, you kiss those motherfuckers goodbye unless this deal's done. By the way, this is something people already some people know about the TV stuff. Some people know that Disney owns the TV stuff. What people don't know is Marvel and Disney technically still own most of, they either own most of or all of video games and animated movies, animated shows. You never found it very strange that the first animated Spider-Man movie just so happens to happen finally after all these years? Animation's been doing a great job. It just so happens they make an animated Spider-Man movie right after the Disney deal with Sony and Homecoming went well. It just so happens that that at the same time when Spider-Man signed with them, they happen to be coming out with this new PS4 game, this new game exclusive to PS4. There hasn't been a Spider-Man game exclusive to PS4 in a very long time. There have been a lot of Spider-Man games, but none of them have been exclusive to PS4 except for the latest one. Coincidence that became exclusive at the same exact time that Spider-Man was playing nice with, that Sony was playing nice with Disney? What I'm trying to say, folks, is there is a high probability. There's a high probability. Very high. I'm not saying it is. That if Sony wants to be Billy Badass and completely back out of this deal and not come back to the drawing board and negotiate, they might get fucked in the ass hard. Goodbye to all those shows you announced. Bye. You pretty much just paying Christopher Miller, Mark Miller and the Lord for nothing. And if Disney can't stop them from making all these projects, they damn sure can give them a hard time doing it. You might, within the next 4 years, get all of those shows cut, get the animated Spider-Verse cut, and get the video game cut, because Disney's like, fuck you. Like, they could do that. And no one's talking about the power that Disney owns over Sony. They can put the kibosh on the games. They can put the kibosh on the shows they announced. They can put the kibosh on Spider-Verse because they own the rights to animated features. And it's said, and I've seen it before, and I might be off, but if I'm off, I'm only off by a little bit. The only thing Sony truly owns is the rights to Spider-Man and all of his characters in a live-action capacity. But you can't but Marvel still owns the TV rights, the video game rights, and anything else. But, it never mattered before. Because Marvel was a little shitty studio, so they just go whatever Sony's doing and try to, get as much coins as they could out of it. So it never mattered before. But when they got the backing of Disney, Marvel can straight up destroy Sony. They got that new Marvel Avengers gameplay I reviewed earlier today, too. You think Marvel's not like, we can replace them ducats with a game of our own? You think Marvel's not like, we can replace Spider-Man? You know what I mean? They just announced all them shows. You think Marvel's like, we don't need the money off of those shows that Sony was going to do? Shit, Marvel already had Big Hero 6 come out. They know how to do an animated movie based off of superhero property, too. They know how to do a team animated movie based off of superhero property, too, So, hey, Sony, man, you are playing with fucking fire. Look, you guys can do your Braveheart thing all you want to, man, but you guys are playing with fire, bruh. You don't want to do this. You don't. Just go back and just, apologize and say, you know what, we'll give you guys that 30% that you want, and we'll just go from there, because you don't want to do this. If you fuck with Disney, they will fuck your whole Spider-Man plans up, and you don't own anything else to really battle back with. You don't. And I know you guys think that you're this rebellious bunch, but I'm just telling you right now, man, and that's what I just wanted to inform everyone, is that Marvel Disney could truly fuck Sony. And all those projects they announced, except for the live action ones, could be screwed in very big jeopardy. Which is why I'm also a bit surprised that Sony would even would go so far to reject this, because they do have more to lose. And I've seen some people talk about the MCU has to lose. But, you know what? Andy Sidnor, fucking anybody else who thinks this are morons. The MCU was built off of the back of characters no one ever heard of. So I see people going, well, who cares about Shang-Chi? You will. Watch the movie. You will. Who cares about the Eternals? Go watch the movie. You will. Who cares about this black movie? Go watch the movie. You will. That's how Marvel is built. And if you're dumb enough to bet against Marvel, the MCU, you're just fucking idiot. Don't go gambling, because you're going to lose your fucking house. Marvel will put your ass on the street betting against them. So, in short, Sony, you made your point. You won't be pushed over. You don't want to be bullied. You made your point. You made a big spectacle about it. We had a big thing. But you probably should go back to the drawing board, should go back to Disney and give them the 30% and just be happy that they're not asking for, be happy that they're willing to come down maybe. Because if you do not, they will screw up all of your plans. They will screw up the video games. They will screw up everything. They might even start taking them out of the comics, like they did the Fantastic Four. You do not want to fuck with the mouse. Just letting you know that, guys. And I'm just letting you guys know what I know. That Sony thinks that they're big boys on campus. It's almost the equivalent of your little brother thinking he grew some peach on his fuzz, on his fucking chin. Now he's gonna punch you in the neck, and he's gonna punch you and think that you're not gonna beat the shit out of him. That's kind of Sony. Anywho, thank you for joining me on the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. Oh man, this is gonna get uglier before it's done. You guys have a good night.